guys, welcome back to another episode of Skillset Overtime. What is Skillset Overtime? What's our midweek rant where Ben and I jump off work. That's not the right thing to say.
No, it's not the right
stop
thing.
work and then jump on the mic.
Take a break from work.
We haven't done an overtime in a little
appropriate.
while. That's why I think I fucked that
Yeah,
up.
I guess it's been a minute.
So,
Been a little bit.
normally it's just me and you, man, running our mouths and having some fun. But we got a guest in and just happened to come through doing some work here down a little south of us, and I figured get in here, let's talk to him. And this is not the first time you guys will ever seen this guy or heard of this guy, obviously. But we're talking with pro knife thrower. We're talking about the guy who, when it comes to throwing knives, this is the man. Jason Johnson. What's up, man?
How we doing, brother?
Good, dude. Thanks for coming by. I know you were here for, Travis Wert's hammering, right?
Yep, the yearly hammer-in is going on down in Tucson this weekend, so I'll be down there doing some classes and instruction.
It's fucking awesome, man. I actually went to Travis Wert's I say famous knife maker. He'd probably be like, oh, I ain't famous, but he's been on our show before, been in our magazine. And I went down to the hammer-in last year, and I had probably the coolest experience because why? Jason taught me to throw fucking knives, man.
How about that?
I posted him up. You guys can even go back and see
I
it.
remember that.
Yeah. And I was just like, I remember you telling me, you're like, dude, let's, I'll teach you how to throw knives. I'm like, fine, you can't teach me. I'm an idiot. I'm uncoordinated. And within 10 minutes, I'm like 20 feet back, sticking it, man. Sticking it, man. So, yeah, dude, you're awesome at teaching, dude. This is amazing. So, we've had you on the show before.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but I've stayed with you guys the whole time, and it's just been awesome watching you guys do what you do.
Yeah, you actually, like a Skillset OG because you were in issue 1, right, which is, you can't get anymore, right, just because... Well, we sold out.
Sold out.
And you're also Skillset Live 22, which that was way back.
That was way back.
Way back, man.
Yeah,
so
that was way back.
You guys want to know the history of Jason, you can go back and listen to that.
We did a phone interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
With like 2 strings or cups and a string or
Yeah,
something. It was a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
I still have the
long
cup.
time ago.
Oh, you still have the cup.
You're so sentimental. That's awesome.
It's so awesome. But God, okay. So from that time we talked to you, so if Skillset Live 22, I'm trying to do my math here, that was a year and change, right?
It's been a while.
Year and a half, probably.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
A couple. You've done a few things since then. And this is how I know. I remember, once again, I follow your feed, and then one day I'm a huge Forge and Fire fan, right? I'm the guy where people can hate that show, they can love that show. What doesn't matter? I like watching guys under pressure, build knives and all that stuff, right? It's a competition type of style.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden they come up with, I see Goldberg. Was it Goldberg? I think it was, or somebody,
Yeah,
right?
Goldberg and 2.
Yeah, and 2. And all of a sudden I see some Forged in Fire knife or death. And I'm like, all right, I got my attention. And then the first person I see is you on the fucking show. I'm like, wait a minute. What am I looking at here, man? And it's a cutter, right? Cutting show. So why don't you walk us through the Forged in Fire knife of death?
Sure. So originally, I had them. They reached out to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know the show was going on. They were like, "Hey, we have a competition cutting show. We'd love to have you come do it." I
Sure.
guess they'd seen, what I do, and I'm like, "Sure, no problem. What do we have? What are my parameters?"
Yeah.
And they told me a 14-inch blade at the time.
Okay.
Episode 1 or season 1.
Yeah.
Things can change. No big deal. So I was like, cool. I'll get a 14-inch kukri made because if you guys being military, you know about a kukri.
They're awesome, man.
Right. Nothing beats a kukri.
Right.
Which so I had my buddy Frank FS Blades make me a kukri, right? So
Yeah.
I drew it up specifically and we got it right. And then the first time I ever used it was on TV. The first cut I ever made with was the first rope. Yeah. Because it got there right as I was leaving. So,
yeah.
Which was a trip, man. I got to go. They filmed it down in Atlanta.
Okay.
On the set where they filmed The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow.
So when I pulled up, I was like, Rick Grimes? Is that you? I was like, I recognized it. I was like, holy shit, this is season 1 Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Very cool. So it's like an iconic place where they do filming and
Sure.
I guess that guy that owns the property just rents it out for that.
No kidding.
So it's a very cool place. But they did Hunger Games were there, which I've never watched and probably never will. 'Cause I don't have any daughters either. So.
Yeah, I've actually seen Hunger. I know there's a couple of them, but I've seen one. But yeah, it's good.
Sure.
It's not a bad show. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kid likes it.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
The smell I will never get over.
Oh,
with
really?
That show. Well,
What do you mean?
Well, look what we were cutting.
Oh, you were cutting like fish and
roast.
chicken.
I thought he meant the Hunger Game. I was like, what don't I know?
But yeah, it was an interesting thing because to me, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I get to cut all the things that I want to cut that I couldn't afford to or couldn't get. You know, they got fish that were as big around as my torso, but they were frozen and all that. Which once they start thawing out, you know.
What got me on watching that show? So I don't know, Ben, have you seen it?
Yeah, man, I've seen it a little bit.
Okay, sorry, my phone just went off.
Oh, that's all right.
That's very unprofessional. It's an overtime. We can do that.
Yeah, sure.
I thought I hit my thing.
Little less structured. Well, you know, it's an iPhone. Maybe they want to listen. We're becoming self-aware.
Well, nothing but pros here, so sorry if you guys heard that in the background.
This could be the day the machines take over and your phone was trying to warn you. It could have been the first one on your side.
You know what it is? It's
Singularity just happened.
It'd been cool if that was like something really awesome, but it was spam. I could tell already, man. I get like 7 of those a day. Anyway, okay, so Ben, basically, you've seen a little, right? Where they,
I've seen a little bit.
And I'm like, okay.
My son's the big knife guy in the house.
Yes, he is. That's right. So I was like, all right, they're going to do some cutting. And then I watched how physically demanding this little, I guess, the stages you go through. Sure. I'm like, these guys got to be smoked, man, because you're not just like, hey, I'm going to cut through some fish and, maybe a chicken or maybe some bamboo. No, I mean, you're hacking, you're chopping, you're doing ice. I mean, you're running to the next thing. So tell me about that, dude. What was that? Did you know? I mean, they let you guys run through that stuff prior to?
No. So right before the course, they kind of walk you through to tell you the rules.
Yeah.
And they videotape, make sure everybody knows the rules, so you confirm.
Oh,
all that TV stuff, which is fun. But the courses, when we're watching them, I'm going, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And everybody else is going, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, this is. So, but a lot of what I noticed was, because you can see people's times, and a lot of people had really good times, but I was like, I'm going through this as quick as possible. So pretty much on TV is what you see is what you got.
Sure. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they cut a little bit so where I walk from one thing to the next.
Oh, I got you.
That's it. I mean, they're constantly on you. So
damn.
But yeah,
that's cool.
The ropes and the ice blocks and all that fun stuff. I'm like, hey, look, if my blade fails, I'm going to go out in epic style. But it didn't.
No.
Frank made a great blade and it held up to everything. And man, some of that stuff was like, as soon as I was done, I was like, man, I want to do that again.
Right?
So some things were pretty surprising. The sheet metal. Was a thing. I was like, wow, you guys put sheet metal out here, and
Yeah, that was pretty wild, man. So, and I love that, like I said, Pete, you show up with your own knife, right? And then I think it's Travis Wirtz that actually like gives you the Ominous Dominus blesses off on it, right? That was another thing. I'm like, I know that guy too, right?
If you watch the show and you watch Travis's commentary, which I'm sure he's going to listen to this podcast, but his commentary is pretty fun. I've heard him say butt puckering on national TV. He said like pushing a marshmallow through a coin slot, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's very Travis.
One-liners are just flowing freely, which is
the
great.
Travis we know.
I love it, man.
It was a lot of fun. So.
I love it because, like I said, there was like I remember, you see all walks of life walk through there, right, with their knives and everything. Well, I remember watching, this guy was like a chef or something, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. You probably know this better than I do, but he had this tiny knife, man, right? I mean, it wasn't, I don't remember how big it was, but compared to all your other guys having the choppers, he had this like, I don't know if it was like a fillet knife or something. I'm sitting there going, this guy's screwed, man.
Yeah, and they didn't give us any
Knowledge,
what, none.
Right.
So when I'm sure he felt what we all would have felt if we walked into a train a tiger with a straw and you're going, oh crap. So
he tried though. I watched.
Oh yeah, he's good with blades. I mean, the guy's at butchery does it. I know the kid and he's a cool guy. And but yeah, they didn't give us no information. They told me when I got there, I saw swords and I was like, wait a minute, you guys told me 14-inch blade maximum.
Right.
And you guys got swords. So I'm like, whatever. Nothing beats a kukri. So which
obviously you did very well in
thank
this.
you.
Yeah. So I mean, you walk me through the stages. So you did your initial run through your show, right? Which you won, right?
Yeah, they have like your own episode, which is so they're doing it like brackets, 8 people per episode. Whoever wins that one goes on.
Sure.
So I won that episode, and then there's like a prize for that, and then you go to the next tier down. Whoever makes it there has a face-off, and then the finals. So I won that face-off. There was me and one other, which is Michael Allenson.
Sure.
Allenson Armour. He's a super cool guy, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since.
Oh, cool.
So it's been cool. But then we did the finale between me and him, and he had a big old broadsword.
Yes.
So he's just swinging a razor-sharp baseball bat. And Michael knows how to make a blade, so there was no bending or breaking in that sword because he did it right.
Right.
So I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, because I know how to use everything, right? I've used the most garbage blades when I was a little kid, all the way up to walking beans with a corn knife when I was knee high to a grasshopper. So, but I'm thinking in my head, okay, I know how fast he can go through this course with the blade. If I was to have that blade, I know how fast. So I'm just going to go faster than that.
Right.
And I did by like 45 seconds.
Sure.
But, yeah, there was the things that was the downfalls. They had those big Culligan bottles that swing.
Yeah.
And my blade is wide.
Right.
So when it cuts the water just skates right off the blade and goes way past, because the penalty comes when the water doesn't put out a candle. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I remember that. Yeah. It's very tricky. The stuff they did on that show.
They wanted you to have a penalty, which was cool, you know. So I don't regret it at all. It was a great time, and we had a blast. And
that's cool, man.
I loved watching those guys, because in the finale, when I watched it, they couldn't keep up with me when they were announcing, and I was just laughing because they were starting to say something, and I'm already on to the next thing. But no, it was cool watching those guys, and Goldberg and T were both awesome guys.
So how's Goldberg, man? Is he pretty cool?
Yeah, he's exactly like you'd think. He's a great guy. I was walking through SHOT Show, not paying attention, and there Goldberg walks by, and he goes, "Hey," and he just like picks me up. I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude?"
Big boy.
That was cool, and you know, obviously you guys know too, and the knowledge levels that he has
for sure,
very commensurate to what I do and stuff too. So watching him and seeing all that stuff, and
that's badass.
Being able to watch his eyes light up, I'm sure he wanted to go through the course. I could tell. You got to let them guys do a run, because it was fun. So.
How's it? I mean, because like I said, when we first interviewed you and put you in a magazine 2 years ago, whatever, right? I mean, it's been 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
It's been a while.
June 2017. Does that sound right?
I don't know. It's
June 2017.
Okay,
June 2017. It's been a while.
So many opportunities have come up, man. And I mean, like I said, I see you every. We were joking when you showed up today. I was like, you were like in Texas 10 minutes ago. How, you know, why are you in Arizona? It's so crazy. So I mean, how's your I say it is a business. It's a business, right? I mean, how has that grown in the past few years, man?
So I mean, my passion obviously is knife throwing and edge weapons. I'm a carpenter by trade, so you know I can kind of do that anywhere in the country,
right?
Which is fun. But the thing is like I gotta be able to afford to travel to teach, and I want to teach. So you know, it kind of turned into one of those things where it's just been it's been a literal explosion since I came out of the woodwork, which is fun because not a lot of people do what I do,
right?
But it's fun to be able to teach people. Max Mullen is a good friend of mine. He's an Army Ranger Hall of Famer, and I was able to teach him recently. And he's the guy that redefined the combatives program for the Army.
Right.
So I mean, he knows his stuff, and just to watch his eyes light up and hear him say, you know, holy shit, basically. Well, it's fun. But then to get him to stick in him, to being able to do it. You know, and I'm not a super big guy, but you see how hard I can throw knives through bulletproof vests and through Sammy heads and all that stuff. And once I, you know, and I had to, sometimes it's hard for people. You know, when you go to throw something, you stop your hand, right?
Yeah.
Once you get that follow through and you see how much power you can carry through on a blade, people are just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's been a wild ride of being able to teach and travel, you know. All the stuff.
You teach so good, man. Like you got so much patience because, like you said that we're stopping. You know, like when I was trying to throw, learning to throw, I you know, not having any habits, but I immediately just going all the bad habits I was doing. You know, the way of my stance and throwing. But it was easy, man. You just like, all right, check this out. Do this, do this. It may not feel right, but trust me. And then all of a sudden, my stuff's starting to stick, and I'm like, hey.
So it's kind of like I've done all the legwork for the last 20 years to be able to simplify this into a system. And what I'm really doing is a combative primal defense mechanism.
Sure.
Something that's been done for 1,000 years. So, and like I said, when I was telling you, what's really important is when you throw a blade, it doesn't matter how hard or soft you throw it, it'll flip the same in the same distance, right?
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah.
So that way when I'm practicing, it does the same thing as it does if I'm not practicing.
Right.
Right? So once you get that I'm really just making things overcomplicated when I'm not doing it right, and just to actually do less.
Yeah.
And what we're doing, if you translate this back to the original words, it's me projecting my cut, not throwing a knife. So if you think of it as a cut, you can see how that starts to change the demographic
for sure.
Dynamic of how you're throwing, right? So,
that's all. It's a cool skill set, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to throw out our own words, but it's like, I mean, it is. And to watch you, like, I love when, like, you'll throw one, almost turn around, and then pull one out of your pocket and throw like backhand or something, you know. And it was just both so, you know, pinpoint right into the target. You're like, that would suck to be on the other end of this right now.
For sure.
Right. And after hunting with knives and doing stuff like that, I mean, you know, when I first started throwing knives, I felled a tree that was 3 foot around over time.
Holy
you know what I mean? Being 10 years old, you throw at the same tree. And then, you know, my dad at the time was like, hey, you know, you're going to make that tree fall over. It did. It fell over.
Really?
Yeah. But putting that into, like, getting older and being able to test and actually have mediums to test on, like hammer forged armor.
Yeah.
Michael Allison brought me some, like, Spanish breastplate armor, hammer forged, putting holes through it.
Really?
Being able to test on organic medium. Like, you know, deer samples. I've thrown a knife through a deer in testing.
Holy shit!
You see, like the knife like this, and for people that are listening, what I'm talking about is a straight blade, single edge knife that has no handle scales on it, so it's just naked blade. Right?
Yeah,
it's flat steel.
Yeah.
That's what I tested it with, and
It
we
went
found it
through-
5 foot on the other side of the shield. It was there's a little bit of science and ballistics there, but
Right.
you know, I'm taking the weight of the knife times the speed of its flight
Yep.
and putting all that force on a tiny little point.
That's
So
insane, man.
It is really crazy to see the difference of, you know, I know how hard I can throw on wood, but when you see it in flesh,
Yeah.
and organic media, it's whoa.
Do
way
me a
different.
favor for those everybody that's watching this on YouTube, man. Hold that knife up to that camera one more time.
Oh,
Shoot
yeah,
a good
sure,
shot at
yeah.
that thing. That mic was hiding.
This is
we
this is
go.
a knife that I developed, a knife that we are prototyping. So this is like a little prototype, nothing finished all the way, but we've just been throwing the crap
There
out
you
of this.
go.
But single edge straight blade, you really can't screw it up.
For
Don't
those
church
of
it
you
up.
listening on the podcast, sorry, you got to go check out our
Yeah, you gotta go to
It's the
YouTube
only way
channel.
to see
Sure.
it.
The thing is,
We're not
what
into astral
and you know,
projections yet.
What I'm teaching people is to throw anything with the point. It doesn't matter.
That
what
was
it-
that was what you were telling me. So I remember that you're like, look, I could teach anybody whatever it is, like with a point, I could teach you to throw it.
Yeah, nothing changes.
Yeah, and it's amazing with your grip, right? Where because at first I thought you were going to start from the blade, and you know, guys who have no clue like me
Sure.
was like, you know, I had no idea how to throw a knife, and then to take, hey, if you're going to take X amount of steps back, you're just going to adjust that grip bit down or up or whatever, you
It's
know.
really instinctively done. So
Yeah.
in a way of, without getting all technical, we don't have to talk about it too much, but it's no spin under 10 feet
Yeah.
or 12 feet.
Yep.
And then from there back, it's only one spin. So very simple.
Yeah.
But the case in point is like a friend of mine was telling me the other day that she took some of her friends to one of those escape rooms.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, cool. That sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. And they got really scared. Even the guys were getting scared and all this. And I guess one of the girls got so scared, she picked an object up off one of a dresser
Yeah.
in the room and threw it at one of the actors.
Oh.
Because she was scared.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. You know what I mean? If that's
Sure.
not ingrained in human
You're right, it's
structure to
instinct.
throw something for defense,
Yeah.
I don't know what is. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You
Holy
know,
shit.
it's just
Good
like
point.
throwing a rock. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if someone pulls a knife out on you, run, unless you can't.
Right.
Right. Obviously, all the logical stuff applies, and you know how I handle
Sure.
it. But man, if I got a knife like this, but there's a rock the size of my fist on the ground, why wouldn't I just throw the rock and use the knife?
Yeah.
You know what I
Good
mean?
point.
So, but
is
just
a-
the mindset of being able to do that
Yeah.
is key. So,
That is. What do you carry around on you all the time, man?
well, I'm a carpenter by trade, so I have more than one knife.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what I was getting at. He's
I have several,
Yeah.
but different knife shapes and different uses for different types of work. I
Right.
mean, obviously, I'll pull a knife. One I usually carry on my vest is one that Milmac AZ
Yeah,
has designed
yeah,
for us.
Milmac,
So
right.
I kind of tweaked his design to make it work, and I tell you what, I could throw that little thing through a 2x6.
Really?
And that, you know, that little.
I remember. I know
PVC
you're talking
knife,
about. Yeah, it's like
So
that's it's awesome. Well, and then you like I said, you always had this one folder that was like a foot long or something, right?
yeah, the Cold Steel Espada XL, and the reason, like I said, I use that is because we're peaceful people.
Yeah.
Just like when we conceal carry, I'm a concealed carry holder also.
Yep.
But we don't go looking for danger.
Sure.
If most of the time it happens, it's the oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Basically, someone either sticks you with something or they come out of the woodwork with something that, you know, or you're protecting someone else.
For sure.
Those are the cases. So
Yeah.
when it happens, it's usually pretty close quarters. So I look at it like this. If I get stuck in the ribs with something and I turn around to see a guy attacking me or I'm getting attacked, whatever I pull out to use must be more formidable than the weapon of my enemy.
Right.
Meaning if I pull out that espada, an arm's coming off.
Yeah.
And it will.
It will.
It will.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
No
So,
shit.
but that way I don't have to, you know, like when I teach like police and military, I'm not going to teach you every type of knife fighting thing. No, we're going to learn what works.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn to do those types of things, just types of things. Like we're not going to teach you you have to do this or that. I'm going to teach you how to pull the enemy's head into your chest and sever his spine and shut him off
Sure.
really quickly, or cut the tendons above the kneecap.
That's what I say. What do you teach? Is that what you're basically just defensive techniques or
Sure.
tactics?
And
or
it
what?
depends on who I'm teaching. Like,
Right.
Yeah, throwing knives is fun, and when you can throw a knife from anywhere, that's the pinnacle of everything we wanted as a kid.
Right.
Right. To pick up a knife and just be like, bam. And
Sure.
So that's fun. At the same time, let's see what it actually does. But then, like the combative side, like I said, it depends on who I'm teaching. But I'm not going to teach you anything that's useless.
Right.
And we want to make sure that, you know, there's a difference between what injures and what kills, or
Sure.
what, you know, what injures and what disables.
Sure.
Just like a gun.
Yeah.
If I shoot you've seen, well, okay, so what happens when you get shot? You've seen, if it's
I
not
cry.
if it's not a vital, right, you're going to cry.
I assume. Thank God I
Well,
haven't been shot.
so when we watch all these videos and you see a guy get shot,
Yeah.
if it's not a dead vital where they just drop,
Yep.
they run.
Yeah.
That's human.
absolutely,
That's
yeah.
reaction, right?
Yep, yep,
so when
sure.
you get shot, you run or you fall.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah.
So same thing with a human's reaction when they get stabbed or anything like that, your fight or flight kicks in.
Sure.
So when I'm throwing a blade, there's something that happens there when you're not within engagement range and your subconscious mind knows that.
Yeah.
Because you see that I have a melee weapon, so to speak, but all of a sudden it's impacted you with the force of a spiked sledgehammer, and now things are different, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I throw that blade, I'm grabbing my children or protecting what I need to protect,
that's
and
smart.
I'm out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and I love that mentality, right? It's self-defense, you know? It's defending your family, it's defending
it's
whatever.
not an attack, it's a defense. Right?
Correct, yeah. No, what about, you see, I guess the trend that's going out there, you're seeing a lot of these axe throwing places and stuff like that, man. What's your opinion of these places, man?
So recently I was at a place in Oklahoma teaching their coaches a thing or two about technique. And that's fun because, like, you know, what I do is rare. Yeah, there's a handful of people in the world that can climb a tree with a knife.
Right.
So, but I'd be more than happy to teach because I'm all about inclusivity.
Sure.
So I do also the axe throwing stuff, and I do the rotational competition because they're way different styles. They won't let me throw my way in competition.
Right.
But we throw for accuracy.
Yeah.
That being said, the style for rotational is really accurate. I've got a challenge out where I take one knife, and from one spin, about 10 feet, you take that one knife, and you got 5 beer bottle caps up on the thing. How long does it take you to hit all 5 beer bottle caps with one knife? And I do it in 45 seconds.
Damn.
So, but that style is very accurate. It's like I'm taking a piece of popcorn and throwing it in your mouth.
Right.
I'm feeling just the weight and setting it on the dot.
Sure.
So that's really fun because it's accurate, but it's not effective.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, hold on, bad guy, let me mark you out my distances. Right. So, but I teach all of it for the purpose of inclusivity, and it is a hell of a lot of fun because when we go to competitions, the camaraderie, it's like going to, you know, any shooting event or any type of fun stuff like that where people are getting along and having a great time. So,
that's cool.
And we all do that. So recently there's been a big advent in competition style where we're starting to include instinctive type of throwing and making a change to where, so it's just been fun. I'd like to feel like I had a little hand in that and making things get to a more proficient level.
Ben, you ever thrown an axe, man?
No, tomahawks.
Or
it's different.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I think, well, maybe that's what I'm talking about.
So the cool thing about how I'm teaching, and I think I told you guys this, was when I throw a knife, the axe is the same. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
Is
so
it really?
From the tomahawk's exactly the same.
Grip and all that stuff.
So I worked briefly like for an event company, right? And like that was one of the things they would do, like axe or tomahawk throwing,
right?
And I remember like first time I ever got a hang, a guy came over, he's like, "This is all you gotta do." And then he left. And I was like, well, this sucks because I'm no good at it. How am I supposed to help these other people have a good time, you know? And by like, you know, hour 3, you know, a couple of YouTubes and this and that, I'm like, I'm sticking. I'm getting this to figure it out. And now I'm able to help other people figure it out. Nowhere by any means to the level you are. But the difference between providing somebody with a good experience of like it just clunks to the ground and they walk away and they just pick their drink back up and they're done.
Right.
Versus it actually sticks and holy shit, I did that, and seeing that pop in their eye. Pretty damn cool.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, the proficiency levels teaching, like if you have an establishment, the proficiency level of your coach is going to dictate how your business goes.
For sure.
And it also dictates whether or not that coach wants to come to work the next day. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So if he's no good, obviously his self-esteem is going to be a little down. So what I do is teach people how to refine the techniques that they're doing according to what they're, you know, like if I go to an axe throwing place, I'm going to teach them how to be accurate, how to just sink bullseyes every single time. And give them the techniques that they have to be able to teach themselves to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I love the fact that all this is like, it's building entertainment for me. So like I said, I told you Knife or Fortune Fire, love watching that. Still watch. I've probably seen every episode. My wife hates me for it. But anyway, you know, it's always one. And then, of course, the Knife for Death. That was fun. And now they got this... it's that this night fighting.
Night fight,
the guys are in like full battle rattle, like from back in the day.
Don't tell me you're on that too.
No, I know the producer that made the show.
Did you?
Yeah, and he's a super cool guy. I won't divulge any information. But I haven't watched the show yet, but I know it's going to be a really awesome.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Was it good?
It's violent as hell.
Oh, it's out already, huh?
Cool.
Oh yeah, I've watched
the trailers.
I've watched a couple, and it's like the best is when they got like 6 guys all attacking each other at once, right? and they do like 3 1-minute
Backyard wrestling.
It is, yeah.
Right?
They do 3 1-minute bouts, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's 1 minute? Holy,
I bet it feels like a lifetime if you're that one guy.
You better hope you got a good armor maker.
And they were full on. I mean, so the blades are dull, but it doesn't matter. Half of them don't even use blades.
They're using
flails and maces,
hammers, and it's as hard as fucking hell they can hit themselves with these things, man.
What's the loose rules? Is it like not hitting in the head or not kicking in the junk?
It's hit as hard as you can in the head.
Wow.
See, the fun thing about armor back in the day was if you had a good armor maker, a good blacksmith, and you made solid armor, you could last longer in battle. Because what are we talking about here with a flail or a mace?
Right.
Yeah, the spike might go through a little bit and poke you.
Yeah.
And even back then, you could still probably recover from the wounds if they didn't get infected.
Sure.
But the deformity of the armor compressing on you. Right?
Yeah.
If I throw a knife, when I was testing that armor, I threw a knife in it and just dented the crap out of it and then poked it through.
Really?
But just having that dent pushing into your chest, like, get it off.
Yeah, it's a car accident. At that point.
Yeah.
That's an impact on a door pushing you the other direction.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you imagine getting a hit in the head with the flail where it just caves in the dome of the helmet.
There's skull under that.
Yeah,
helmet.
I recommend anybody watch at least one episode because it's. I mean, I didn't realize how violent these guys are fucking nuts. I love the best part because it's like. Dennis, he's an accountant by day, and he's like literally the Black Knight at night and just destroying people.
So these guys are like, I was gonna ask, their background, are they like they're LARPing in the park and shit?
Yes,
I think they're
most of them are just normal dudes that this is like their hobby, right?
Oh, okay.
And a lot of them do competitions, and like they'll do these, major
Renaissance fairs and stuff.
Like even better than that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like literally they go international competition. This is like. This show,
I had no idea, man. That's killer.
They show like footage, and it's not they're doing 6 at once. But they'll show footage of like, hey, we went to Ireland and did this, and there's like 300 at once trying to kill each other, man.
Shut the front door.
Large.
My God,
it's like a Civil War reenactment, but with real action.
And they just have to.
All I'm saying is if they could combine all that stuff with that sport where they run down the hill.
Yes,
that would be great.
Yes,
first one to the sword gets to start first.
My God. Yeah, that's great.
How
you should pitch that.
That's copywritten already. Sorry, that's the Skillset games.
Hey man, we'll get on with some executive producers here. You just let us know.
Yeah, it's insane, but I love how all that's this whole in a world that we're becoming so pussified, right? I always say, but
it's cool to see that on TV.
There's still cool stuff like this.
That point you just made,
yeah.
Right? The last issue of the magazine, come on, the pussification, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so look at what's going on, though.
Right.
The real people, the real organic grass, they don't want that shit.
Right.
And that's why you see shows like Night for Death and Night Fight and
Truck Night in America, if we're going to stretch it a little bit.
There you go.
But I'm just saying, like, it's all there.
It's there.
It's all the same shit.
The people that aren't
it's guys pushing their tools and trades and skill sets to the limit.
That's right.
Yeah.
The people that don't whine and cry, they go to work every day, they're still like us.
Yeah. And I think there's and just where the snowflake movement kind of owns a lot of the media out there, right? They have a bigger soapbox.
Not driving 5%,
right?
Pushing 97% of the own media sources.
There you go. Yeah. Right. Where there's guys like us that, man, we're upstanding, outright, great citizens. We're not thugs, we're not punks, and this and that, but we're rough. We're rugged and we like manly shit. And there's females out there like manly shit. I say, jumping them in there.
A sandwich with greasy hands.
There you go.
I've got people we're talking about doing TV shows and stuff, and with a couple different producers and that. And, and that's the demographic people want.
Sure.
Stuff.
I
that
totally
keeps
believe
them. Yeah. And so just like with your guys' magazine over the years, you guys have seen the outpouring of, and me as an outsider, I've watched it.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody that. They're looking for something to grab onto that is real America again. You know what I mean? Like, you remember back in the 80s when we watched movies? Every single movie had a killer soundtrack, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
There wasn't one movie made in the 80s that didn't have an awesome soundtrack.
Damn straight.
So people remember these movies, the era. So all these new movies try to recreate what we had, what we felt, and what we saw, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the real comes out and people see it and they go to it.
Yeah. And I'm glad there's channels like History Channel and stuff like that they're still fucking manning up and putting stuff like this out there.
I'll be honest, I had a conversation with I'll say a listener at this point because it was about a podcast situation we were talking about.
Yeah.
And how most of us guys that are into skilled stuff when it comes like trade stuff, like building, like I want to erect a shed this weekend or I want to chop down that tree. We all live on YouTube.
Sure.
All the guys we follow have navigated to YouTube from PBS and from fucking Discovery Channel, and it's just that it's a different form of entertainment. If you actually want to learn a craft or a trade or a skill or blacksmithing, you go to instructional type places for that.
And it's like
so it's good to see this coming back around.
Well, look at
on
YouTube,
the TV,
right? We're going to YouTube. Now, why is that? Because we can't get what we want to see on TV.
Can't.
Look, I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
I go to Lowe's, Home Depot, or Menards, and I will put them all on blast because here's the problem. There's no capitalism there.
No.
Case in point, if I go there to buy a good tool because I need something to make cabinets or whatever, I get a choice of Home Depot brand tools
Exactly.
and garbage tools.
Exactly.
I don't get to buy that. I don't get the choice to buy the
You
good tool.
are
You know what I mean?
fucking
So that's the
100
death of
right
capitalism right there in a public held industry.
Sure.
That ain't cool with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to order everything if I want something good.
Yep.
Same thing with knives. Most of the stuff that I get is high-end stuff because you gotta have, you know, I mean,
For sure.
You
It's the
just
tools, man.
can't
It's
go
how you
get the
earn.
right tools anymore.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the Walmart generation has just bled into us. But the thing, the Walmart generation is there pushing all this garbage stuff on us. But what are we seeing right now? People going looking for the quality stuff.
Seeking
People-
out makers again, handcrafted stuff.
So
the
people
whole
are still out
resurgence
there.
is here, man.
It's resurgence.
And it's you're right because so our good friend Brady Miller at Monkey Edge, right, who always sells the most high end, coolest fucking knives. And I used to look at his stuff, and I'm like,
that's monkeyedge.com.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And I'm looking, I'm like, who would ever buy a $500 knife, right? I'm like, a pocket knife. I'm like, you know, I've been carrying around, we used to bitch about this time. We used to carry around box cutters instead, right?
Yeah.
But then I got educated, right? Where Brady was like, okay, I get what you're saying. It makes total sense, you know? He goes, how many of those shitty $80, $50 knives have you bought in your life? And I'm like, probably dozens, man. He goes, so you've actually spent $1,200 to $1,500 on knives. And I'm like, I have. He goes, or you can buy one knife for $500 that has a lifetime guarantee. Though you can send it back, they'll sharpen it, you know, just going off. And I'm just like, you made a good point, man. I get, you know. And then he takes it out there, takes his knife and starts stabbing it in the concrete. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
No.
Just to show. Okay,
man, it was better than stabbing. Like,
Okay.
he started stabbing it, and then he picked up a rock and
Oh,
started
yeah.
like, remember, like driving it in there.
And I'm like, you're running a $500 knife, and then he shows it to me, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No, it was cool.
I'm like, okay, my little shitty $80 knife can't do anything like that.
I like bend it to try and open my mailbox because I don't want to get the key and I break the tip off.
And I mean, you look at the good tools, the good things.
Yeah.
Like these knives that I design here. They have good weight.
Yeah.
They're formidable blades because it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
I like
You're
good
absolutely
tools.
right.
So, and that's the same thing with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's
And as a car guy and a maker dude, you
Yeah.
know, self-proclaimed, I should have picked up on that sooner. Like my whole thing is just forgetfulness.
Oh man, I've had
I
many.
lose shit. I lose
so many
stuff.
440 stainless steel knives. You know, being a kid,
Yeah.
starting out,
sure.
Yeah.
as nothing, learning, and so I've gotten a chance to learn from all the garbage that I've ever used.
Right.
all of it.
Yeah.
And I know guys that won't spend less than $3,000 on a knife.
Wow.
And that's a low number.
Wow.
Wow. That's what I
Really?
still say. Like, really? What?
Holy shit.
Buy me a knife,
Wow.
homie.
I'm saying 500, man. I'm a cheap ass.
Yeah.
So
How
at the
about
same
that?
time, you
Yeah.
know, I will spend $500 on a pocket knife.
Oh, yeah.
If it's got good steel and it's
makes
solid,
sense.
yeah.
Well, now it's an investment now, and it goes
get
down
that.
to the buy once, cry once, right?
I
You
totally
know?
get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Now I
yeah.
drunk the Kool-Aid and fully come around on that subject.
I get to, yeah. We were against that for a while, right? We're just like, no.
I got called out like the other day because I was posting. I posted a picture of my tool drawer. And the only reason I did it is because I finally like reorganized it and put fresh drawer liner in there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll spend money on all that shit." And I was like, "Ooh,
Good point.
You're right.
Yeah, good fucking point. You had a lot of wrenches in it. I looked at that fucking photo. It's like,
That's a lifetime's collection."
I
of
mean, it was like
wrenches.
fucking 400 fucking wrenches. They all look the same,
I
man.
have one guy that
405/8
he's
wrenches.
actually you know who I'm speaking of. He's flying racer mechanic.
Yeah.
And he shot me his drawer all nicely laid out, like most guys that actually have jobs in that industry do. And I
That
go,
sounds like too much time on your hands.
I go, yeah, man, I'd need like 500 drawers if I only had 10 nicely displayed wrenches in each one. But he shot back with, well, I only work on one type of vehicle. And I was like, good point.
That's a good point.
I don't. I work on everything.
works
I got a lot of
himself,
fucking wrenches.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
And all the homemade
I'm
shit's the
with it,
coolest,
man.
right?
Yeah, right,
You know, the
exactly.
shit where you got to bend it just so, heat up the old torch and
bend the wrench to
back
get
in
the
there.
right angle.
nothing like making your own
Special
tool.
wrench,
Yeah, buddy.
I do the same thing with box wrenches. I'll grind off one
That's
side
it.
and make it a point.
Yeah.
Now I have a
like
wrench in my back
serpentine
pocket.
belt
Right.
wrenches come that way. I love turning them into ice picks. One end's
man.
always an ice pick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you never know. Like a lot of the times you're over the hood when someone creeps up on you. It's usually just the mailman, but you're like,
I've killed 3 postal workers this week. Sorry.
It was my dog.
Yeah, right. Holy shit.
That's funny.
It's cool. I volunteer at a shelter.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You're exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean that's the. But you know Ed, I mean that's stuff that he.
Yeah,
I
man,
got stuff
yeah,
from
Ed
him, and
Calderon.
I've seen
No, Ed
stuff.
Calderon, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen stuff that the improvised
Yeah.
weapons that are just super duper creative. You
They-
know,
they are.
I've gotten stuff from him that was,
Sure.
you know.
I
whoa.
yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Actually, a lot of the blade stuff, you know, I've learned off Ed's website, you know, or his Instagram feed, man. On some of the stuff that a lot of people carry, you know, and a lot of stuff that I probably don't need, you know, and especially when it comes to self-defense, you know, little stabby, pokey things, and what you will need, and then, you know, he puts quite a few videos on there, and people actually getting fucked up, man.
Yeah.
So
and
we did a live thing with him.
Yeah.
went live with him. We had like a whatever they call that skills or Instagram live.
Instagram Live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You're talking recently, right?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I
recently.
saw that.
So we had a really good conversation about stuff, and you know, like Ed has told me before, where guys he's getting them in to do the medium organics seminars where guys are bringing pocket knives and testing them on pigs.
Yeah.
right? And these guys are going, "Why does my hand hurt?" Well, because you're stabbing into the side of the pig and the blade don't stop. Your hand is hitting it at full force. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so that's some of that physics stuff. Well, imagine if you can do that with your hand and flesh.
Right.
Imagine what a thrown blade does.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is why I can throw, like I had a police officer buddy of mine give me a police issue vest with the hard plate and the soft plate, just so we could test it to see what was possible. And so that way the officers knew what could be done with an actual handheld stabbing implement versus, you know, obviously a criminal doesn't train, and you're going to be safe there. Most criminals ain't going to train to throw knives.
No, I don't
not.
think so.
Lazy people ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
And cowards especially. So, but just the physics of what is happening is a super eye opener. But yeah, like you're saying with the weight and the power
Right.
that you can put on with just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, and guys are like, "Oh, I need this handle of this knife to have all these ergonomic shapes," and I tell them, here's a pencil.
Yeah.
I want you to stab it into this target as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And their hands ain't gonna slip down it. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Right.
don't church it up. But yeah, the things that he's using,
Yeah.
like I'm a big fan of form and function and simplicity, but some of the things that I've seen through Ed's posts are even more simplified.
For
Like,
sure.
Oh man, like can I just grab a piece of whatever off the ground and turn it into
Yeah, a lot of weapons of opportunity type of stuff,
makes
and
sense.
and you know, and for Ed writing for Skillset, I've learned so much. And this next issue, I can't let the cat out of the bag coming up here, but he has another. I don't say it's weapon of opportunity, but it's a tool that bad guys use, and when it comes to like holsters and weird stuff, I don't know, I'm giving it out, but it's like I was amazed at what I've seen. And I was like, damn, are you kidding me? But it works, and guys are using it daily, and it's good to know what, especially the criminal element, those bad guys, what they are carrying.
Right.
And all that stuff. And then how to identify shit like that. And it's pretty cool, man. So I always enjoy having Ed's pieces in our skills.
It's eye-opening, to say the least.
He's a lot of fun. So, hopefully him and I will get together around some organic
That's a good point. I was
medium
getting to
at
that
some point.
question, if you guys were going to plan on
we
getting
talked
together
about
and
it.
doing anything soon.
I know Ed's a busy guy, but we've been talking about it, and I think once that finally happens, it'll be a lot of fun to see, because it's you know, just the, like when we're talking, I'm telling him, you know, what penetration wise, and he's seen my videos, and it's fun to watch, you know, engineering style brains, logical professors be like, whoa, what's going on? And you can actually see, like, man, because to me, I still do it all the time. I did that, the Sammy head from Zombie Go Boom, you know, those ballistic heads.
Yeah.
That thing's like 85 PSI, schedule 40 PVC, like 3/4 of an inch thick. And I hit it with a stick a few times, a rattan stick, and I was like, wow, that's really hard.
Yeah.
And I threw at it and just
right through,
all the way through both sides. I couldn't believe it. So
That's insane.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad to know that that Ed Calderon actually exists, because he doesn't. I hope he listens to this. He hasn't ever come here and said hi to us. So
Probably good. He'd probably tune me up. So.
nah, dude's busy. I know he needs to stop by. He keeps skipping over Phoenix for some reason. I don't know why. He keeps coming over here.
Yeah.
and everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. After driving through Well, because I drive. You guys know I don't fly.
Yeah,
so.
you're like everywhere.
Yeah,
you're driving everywhere is what I meant to say.
In the Raptor, it's not so bad. You know, you turn on the heat massage.
Good roll.
Yeah, fucking trucks.
How much do you travel a year?
The last 2 years have been just crazy.
More than most, right?
Yeah, somebody told me, you know, because like the thing is like my management team and all these people that they find me.
Yeah,
I didn't seek them out.
Right.
You know what I mean? My management team does like Breaking Bad and the Avengers, and,
oh, cool.
And I'm like, wow, super humbled, and I could never, you know, afford what he.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's just been like a nonstop, and my manager said, he warned me. He goes, be careful, because you're going to be busy.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, it's fun. You know, I love teaching people. And that's the thing. I've done all the legwork. So teaching becomes easy.
Right.
And I got all these fun little sayings and catchphrases that I can use to help people figure out what they're doing. And, and then I just get in my truck and I bring my dirt bike with me everywhere. So I'm riding Arizona, Vegas, just everywhere I can ride. So Texas, I rode there at Hidden Falls.
Yeah, I saw you put some up on your Instagram.
Yeah, so that was very cool. I post a lot of those videos on my YouTube, which is the same name, my pro knife thrower on YouTube, but I put like the longer
I'll have to go
riding
subscribe
videos.
to that.
Yeah.
But man, you live close to here, and you ride. You still got your bike, don't you?
Yep.
Man, some of the riding around here is just...
It's amazing.
Being from Nebraska.
It's kind of why I switched over and even got that bigger KTM, or not KTM, I'm sorry, that KLR, was just for the fact that I wanted to start going ride to more places. There's so much dirt to get away from traffic.
Yeah.
It's like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you cut loose from the truck and actually just ride to your trailhead?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it was the same
And
process I started doing
my
in the
dirt
Jeep.
bike's street legal, so I'll throw my street tires
Exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Crotch rockets a thing or two about.
But it really is like it's a from a guy that's been street bikes and dirt bikes to mix the worlds and let them mesh and find that whole new.
That's my first dirt bike I've ever had.
It's fucking awesome.
And
wow!
I used to race crotch
that.
rockets on the track, and it got really expensive to practice.
Sure,
$250 a day just.
Track days, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, but having that experience on a MotoGP bike, to put my supermoto tires on that 240-pound bike, dude, and I school
and
guys.
It's a great look too.
Oh,
I love that look.
I love it. I love it. But I'll go around corners on off ramps, drifting, passing guys on crotch rockets, and they're going, "What the hell?" It scares them out,
Yeah.
And then as soon as the straightaway goes, they go,
they
fly by.
That's when the horsepower.
I'm still doing a wheelie at 40, just waving.
How's the, well, we're on car talk. How's the Subaru doing? You still got the Subi?
Oh, no, I don't, man.
You get rid of her?
Yeah, I did. It was, I put over 60,000 in parts on that car, on that build. You saw the build go down.
It adds up. It adds up.
It does. And that thing ran a 10.2 quarter. It was a 650 foot-pound of torque monster, and I loved it, but running on E85, trying to drive that across the country is not happening. So
it really doesn't work well as a dirt bike hauler. So
yeah, and then I had a Transit 250 van, which I was like, oh, this is great because I can put my dirt bike in the back and my cot. But then I felt bad because if I find like a school and I'm lost, you just don't want to get lost around a school. You end up driving by. You got a big sense. Yeah, it just wasn't a good look. So I traded in for the Raptor, and actually, this is my second Raptor. Get this. So the first Raptor, I took it out, doing a little off-roading. I was sliding around sideways, and I barely, what we call baby heads.
Yeah.
Right? Barely bumped a baby head.
What's a baby head?
It's a rock about the size of a baby head.
Okay. Baby heads.
Okay.
There's tons of them like in trails in Tucson coming down. That's the hardest part of riding down in Tucson is baby heads. So you're descending.
Wow. Woo. So I was basically sliding around in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I kind of went into one of these little lulls. Like a little low depression. And I hit one of those baby heads. And on the way home, I could see my tire, like a 1/4-inch little wobble. And I was like, no big deal. I probably bent a rotor.
Yeah.
Go home, replace the rotor. Wasn't it? It was the axle shaft.
It was the whole shaft, huh?
Yeah. No problem. It's a Ford truck. No axle shafts in the country existed at all. Back ordered until indefinitely. Could not get them.
Oh.
So I had to get a different truck. I told my insurance company, we got to do something here. I'm not driving one of the new F-150s that stops and dies. What's up with that? The
word
cars that
Ford
die
comes to mind right now. I'm just saying I sold mine. I'm just saying. I can say it now.
So I just
because I had that frustration where I'm like, this Ford's going.
Yep.
I just got a Ford F-150, right?
He touched the nerve, didn't he?
He touched
the nerve. So you have this, and I was sitting there driving. I had a 2015. I decided to let me upgrade a little bit, right? Whatever. And I got an 18, right? So
right.
And so brand new, and sure enough, I'm driving it, and I stop at a stoplight. I'm like, this motherfucker just died.
It's like
on
a
me.
fucking rental.
Dude, it freaked me out when they gave me a rental, and I was like, whoa, shit, I broke the truck, and what the hell's going on?
And so I take my foot off the brake, and it starts back up, and I'm like, okay.
They're like the cars at Disneyland.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little insider info into those things. They're like, oh, the upgraded starters. Ain't upgraded starters. Not at all. Same thing.
That's what I say.
So check it out.
That's
in Nebraska,
yeah.
in northern territories where it gets below zero,
yeah.
I have seen cars where people take the foot off the brake and go, and it's not starting right away. So, but they already got their foot on the gas. So it's like, boom, and it kicks into gear, and then they go fly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's starting.
What do they do? What is the purpose behind that?
I've asked that question publicly.
You want me to give you the
look
answer?
it up on Google.
This is to offset your horrible carbon footprint.
So that's what I told
you. Is that what it is?
It's all
environmental shit.
It's all environmental shit.
All right.
It's the same
Look at
reason
what the
we have
EPA did.
diesel exhaust fluid now. It's the same.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like, that's all it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know a farmer out in western Nebraska that the EPA or whatever they are, Bureau of Land Management, whoever, they came and took over because he got a stream that runs through his place. They put a plaque in the ground, told him he couldn't be so close to because you know the BLM owns every water source in the country.
Sure.
So they can come up and tell you can't have your cow shit in the creek.
Really?
Or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, wow.
Here's what I'm at. This is where like I'm on. I don't want to say I'm on the tree hugger side of this shit, but let me just put this out there for the world and all. How many people listen? Probably like 10,000?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just a few.
So for all of the 10,000 people that are listening right now, like, if we really were hurting the planet that much, would there be any form of motorsports fucking racing going on in the country right now?
Right. Thank you.
How about launching them Tesla fucking rockets up into space? How about, like, if emissions is real, how about you go after those fuckers and leave my damn man's poor Raptor alone? Leave Jason's poor F-150 alone.
Let's stop making our vehicles stop. Maybe put just 1 or 2 restrictions on China's emissions.
There you go.
For a short time in here in Arizona, they still make cars go through fucking emissions here. I'm not going to get into it. But for a short time, they even fucking had the nerve to make motorcycles start going through. And I'm
they do that in Nebraska. They have all that on them.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
Knock it. Tell Elon Musk to quit launching shit into space.
Oh,
if we care about fucking hurting the planet that
same
much.
Same thing with the taking
it's
the
all
control
about
away
this,
from
baby.
us, right?
Yeah.
It's all about
Yeah,
this.
that's
It's all
the
about
same
keeping the thumb on the working man.
You got it, dude. They're trying to make it to where they pass a law that makes us not able to modify our vehicles, that it would be illegal to do.
Yeah. That's that whole 50
Okay,
state
so the
legal
Raptor,
shit.
I had to get a module for the Raptor because if I turn the traction control system off and you hold it down, it's supposed to turn it completely off. Unless it's in off-road mode and the rear locker is in, it will not turn all the way off.
Wow.
So what happens is when I'm sliding around the corner in the snow, because like I said, I grew up on doing this stuff. Sliding around the corner in the snow, having fun. The engine will let the tires spin, but I'm in snow, so it's not so much drag, right? It's not so much friction, so it lets them spin a little bit, and then all of a sudden, it'll be like, oh, my tires are spinning. It'll slow down your wheels, and guess what happens? The front end of my truck turns toward the outside of the corner because it's slowing down the wheels and trying to put me in the ditch. And that pissed me off. I blasted Ford on Twitter. I was like, you need to make a way I can turn this off.
It's because vehicles have become so easy to drive that people don't need to know how to drive anymore.
But you go out and find yourself a 70-year-old woman. You look up any woman over 60 years old and ask her if she knows how to drive a stick shift. Every single one of them does. Sure. Probably learned how to do it on a
And they know how to drive
truck.
in the snow, and they know how to park in a hill, and they know how to fucking parallel. That's the problem.
Dude,
it's just like everything else. Everything's become so easy and convenient that we don't need a skill set to drive the fucking car anymore.
Dude, in communist countries, you got to know how to change your tires. You got to know how to handle your vehicle in a slide. You got to know how to do all. And I'm not saying I agree with communism at all, which I don't.
Right.
But look at what they make people go through. Right. At the same time, over in France, with communist, whatever rule, dictatorships. I can go to a place with my motorcycle in an open parking lot and do stunts and stuff and find my groove and find my knack without getting in trouble.
Really?
We're a free nation, and I can't. You can't get an insurance policy to even allow that to happen.
Right.
Oh, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Like, when they come to look at your bike, don't have crash pigs on it. Don't fucking.
Oh, dude.
I know, man.
The KTM, my bike. If it's street legal, they had to have the emissions, smog crap. First thing I did was eliminated that system.
Yeah, do a slip on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've probably gotten way off the subject of knives here.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all man stuff.
I don't fucking mind. I'm cool with it, man. I'm just sitting there. I'm still worried about my damn truck. I'm like, why the fuck do you keep shut? I know the guy who sold it to me, the dealer is like, hey, man, there's a way around that. You just gotta, I guess, just YouTube it, and you can disengage that
Pull
thing.
the little fuse and put a little ohm resistor in there, and it'll turn the light off for you.
There you go.
Yeah,
but to bring it back to knife throwing on dirt bikes.
What?
We throw off dirt. Yeah,
I've seen your videos.
Yeah, we throw knives off dirt bikes. Same thing. Dude, think about it like this. It's like I'm on a horse.
Yeah. Oh, good. No shit. Right? I didn't think about that.
Shoot arrows off a horse, throw knives off a horse, whatever.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos.
I have not seen. So that's the craziest shit I've seen you do. Not crazy. Just the most insane for me is when you'll throw a fucking soda can up and then peg it with a knife, right?
I like that.
And those out there like, oh, I'm not talking like 3 feet away. I'm talking about he'll toss it out to I don't know how fucking far.
About 20 feet or
20
so,
feet. Throw a fucking knife through it and pin it to a tree or a target or something like that. And I'm like,
did you see the Kenny Dobbs video that we did that one?
With the
March Madness?
Oh, with the basketball.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with that. But, Kenny, to me, like, yeah, I know I can throw a knife, whatever, but Kenny, that guy can slam dunk over 3 people blindfolded on fire.
All right.
International
Like, wow.
slam
He's like
dunk champion.
6 inches taller than me. I'm like, how can you jump like that?
Oh, I know.
Right?
He's amazing. Yeah, it's awesome, and he was on our show too. Yeah,
So
right.
I've actually got
It's
a
been a
plan
long
coming up
time.
because my schedules are getting filled up, and we're coming up with all this stuff. And you guys are my generation. Remember a band called Tidal Force back in the day? It was an old hair band. Tidal, like a tidal wave.
I don't think I remember.
I don't think
and
I
I'm
know.
a big hair guy, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
you
were
would
like
know
a hair
that
band
more than
back
me.
in the late '90s or early '90s.
What was
Okay.
their hit? You gonna sing a few bars for me?
Nah, they had. I don't know about a hit, but the drummer's guy's name is Michael Blakey, and he's the award-winning multi-bajillionaire producer.
sure.
And he's a buddy of mine, and I'm like, he's got Paganis and private jets and all that. Dude,
Nice.
the watches he buys, I'm just like, whoa, we're talking crazy amounts of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Had
is
me at
cool.
Pagani.
I do not care. I'm like, I've never worked for a poor guy in my life.
Right.
So I'm cool with that. Have as much money as you want.
Yeah.
Let's make a video. So
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I'd love to make a video. So I got a buddy of mine who works at the State Department of Roads, and he's going to make me a bunch of speed limit 55 signs.
Oh.
And I want to get in one of his convertible exotics. And I'll be like, hey, man, does this thing go any faster? And he'll be like, well, the speed limit is 55, Jason. And I'll be like, schwack, not today. And we're just going to roll out.
Oh, there you go.
So that'd be a fun
That'd be
little
fucking
video.
cool, man.
Haters will say it's Photoshop.
That's
What I'm
right.
saying.
yeah. I need you said haters. Great question. Do you have trolls and haters on your shit? I mean,
That's crazy.
When you do a performance based, I guess you're a performance based personality, right? In other words, out there, where it's not like we're Ben and I. We don't have to really perform shit. We just talk. We run our mouths on the radio.
We're performing right now.
Yeah, that's it, right? But for you, and whether it's an athlete out there, a guy with those knives, or a shooter, man, I see tons of just shit talking
Trolls.
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 Do you deal with any of that shit, man?
It's crazy. I don't. Like
Oh, really?
one or two every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing it says, somebody said I need to shave the dead squirrel off my face. But that was like a year and a half ago, and I thought it was funny, and
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Okay, so you don't get a lot then, huh?
And it's crazy to see because I know knife throwers. My buddy Charlie Atlas, huge. Have you ever seen him? He's big.
Yeah.
Lives in Scotland. He used to be a
Well, his
bouncer in
name's
Glasgow.
Atlas.
Right.
So he kind of has that.
Charlie Atlas, yeah.
I got women that throw knives that are gorgeous. That
Yeah.
know, and they get so much hate. People, oh, you should do this. And look at Alex Zedra. You know who she
Oh,
is?
yeah, I
right?
do, yeah.
I saw a comment on her page the other day. She was shooting a KSG, which I have, and I love my KSG.
Yeah.
And somebody said, look how short and stubby her trigger finger is. And she was funny because she said, like your dick, which I thought was
Oh,
hilarious.
hey, that's
But-
awesome.
The point is, it's like, look at that. I mean, what kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's typical
Why?
bullying
It's
behavior.
right,
It's
but-
just easy target shit.
And it's
That's it.
crazy that I don't have that, which has been a really weird study in humanology
Right.
because it's just I don't know. I don't know what it is. If it's like I'm approachable, if it's because what I'm doing is subconsciously seen and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. And it's
Yeah.
easy to talk to me and all that. But it's weird to see that everybody else has that and I don't because I haven't pinpointed on why. But it's the same thing in like the group of people went to Sturgis to try to teach knife throwing. And it was in
Yeah.
that rotational style, drawing lines and all that. And every single person walked by and was just like, right?
Really?
Nobody, not one person partook. But I can go to like
Really?
any Pheasants Forever, Turkey Association,
Yeah.
any show or anything like that, and people are lining up.
Did you just tell me that fucking drunk dudes at Sturgis don't want
Right.
to throw knives?
Right.
What the hell?
Isn't that
What's our
wild?
biker community culture
Maybe I
turn
don't
into?
need to go there as a bucket list thing.
But it's the difference in somebody going like this and dressed up in like funny clothes and doing,
Right,
come up
right.
and just kind of looking the part where it's like that circus style throwing
Yeah.
versus when I'm blowing shit up and throwing a knife through 2x6s and
Yeah,
through shit.
yeah.
People are like, whoa, I want to do that. Well, the first time I taught at Rogue, you saw the video, and
Yeah.
I love because Wes brought those other cats, Ray and I don't think they knew what I did, but as soon as they saw it,
Yeah.
and that to me is an affirmative because their subconscious mind sees what's going on and they just go, holy shit. 'Cause you
Yeah.
see its usefulness and effectiveness, and that makes you want to do it.
Right.
Well, now that you can throw a knife from anywhere, it
That's
makes
a
it a
good
hell of a lot
point.
more fun. You
That's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
point.
For
So
sure.
it's just like if you're watching TV and you're watching something, I look at it like this. When I'm, I got guys that are knife throwers that make videos and they just don't get a lot of traffic. But when
Yeah.
I make a video, it's cool. And I'm like, well, how is that? What's different?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What am I doing that's different? And
I
to
don't
me,
know.
it's just a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Like if you go out and you like, I like this. Well, why do you like it? Because you see it, it's form and function, it works right.
Right.
You don't have to question it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, that's badass. I like that knife because it's gonna do what I want it to do, or I like this dirt bike because of this, or I like this Jeep because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see it immediately. Like the old saying goes, when something's out of place, one thing is wrong. Everybody takes notice.
Yeah.
But when everything is going right, nobody even notices.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It makes sense, man. It makes sense. I like I said, I don't see anything. I mean, like I said, I've seen you perform. I've seen you do shit that I could not believe you make it do. So I don't. When you say I don't have a lot of trolls, I believe it. I believe it because it's not. It sounds easy. I just got to throw a knife. And it is when you get proper instruction from you, right? But I would have still been down last year. It'd been a whole year, and I'm still trying to throw if I didn't have someone teach me how to fucking do it, right? So it's and I bet people go out and try to do it themselves and like, oh wait, okay, maybe this is harder than I thought, you know.
Sure, and I think the big thing is too is like a friend of mine, KJ Jones, Thunder Horse Blade. She just brought up this point this morning. She look at
I know what you're talking about.
Look at Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
you know where she stands with the country.
Yep.
She loves the country, but she's never spoken an ill word about anybody. She's always been inclusive, always been willing to help, and that's what what I try to emulate too. I'm always inclusive with everybody. Anybody, people send me messages all the time, and if I can get to them, I try to help them out as best as I can.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, some things I can't give away for free. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you gotta make a living.
My time.
You gotta make
your time is the most precious resource you got.
100%, man.
So you gotta make use of your time well, but at the same time, I'm down to be approachable and inclusive. So that's why we're teaching here at PSE Archery headquarters this weekend. And I did my best to make it affordable for everybody, and $20 to get in, and so that's gonna be.
That's great.
Yeah, so
that's
it'll
fucking way worth.
Since I'm here anyway. Down at Travis's, I figured, what the hell. So.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Ben, we gotta get you throwing knives, dude.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Saturday or Sunday, man, if you're still in town.
I'm telling you, man, it's addicting. It's fun. I would be doing it here, but I almost forget everything he taught me, so I need a refresher.
This is the worst part of the job. For everyone that asks, like, what's the worst part of Skillset? There's got to be something. You know what it is? Getting introduced to all these new hobbies and not having the money to do all 9,000 of them that enter your life.
Oh, your reload costs go down.
For you just have to worry about, like, knives, right? Yeah. But for us, tomorrow, some guy's going to walk in here with, like, birds or something. And all of a sudden, I'm going to be like one of those falconers or something. Like, this is a bad hobby to have as a job. Man,
yeah, I know,
all these cool stuff walking through the door.
Cool shit, man.
That falconer shit's pretty cool. You ever seen My Side of the Mountain?
Shit, man, we've had one in here.
Man, it's a book that came out when we were kids, and it's like one of those coming of age. But it's called My Side of the Mountain. They made that into a movie. It was on public access when we were kids.
Yeah,
great movie. This kid goes and he's supposed to go visit his dad, and his plane crashes. Oh, ends up having to live off the land with a hatchet and a knife. But the kid actually. So he's actually like a scientific kid, but he becomes a falconer. And that's something I always wanted to do because, a bird.
Yeah.
Just send it up in the air and go get your food for you, which is sweet.
Yeah.
But you have to be with those birds every single day. Now I have chickens and turkeys, and they don't give a shit if I come back there or not.
right.
So,
we've had one here.
We were fortunate enough to meet a guy
who owns a couple falcons.
Wow.
And
but the story of how he obtains them is even equally as cool as right.
Yeah,
you remember that?
I think
So the guy catches them in the wild. We thought they were like raised from birth. You got to have a bond with this thing or something. Like he's stealing them out of the nest or some shit.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Like there's just a bird.
Yeah.
Out there, like when you're four-wheeling, and pretty soon he like gets that bird. And then it just becomes one with him over a period of training and time.
Yeah, very
Beastmaster. Yeah,
he brought this thing in, and there's a photo of me, right?
I posted it up not too long ago.
And I have a American flag. I got this bear coat on, and then I have this falcon on my arm, right?
Right.
It's very majestic, right?
It's very America.
I think that needs to be a poster.
It's very fuck yeah America, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know the details behind that. How fucking I was sweating bullets because this falcon, he was relatively new. He was out of the wild and he's been trained up and all that stuff. He was a good bird. But he was looking at me like I'm a giant rat, right? Because I had this big bear coat on.
Big bear coat.
And this thing was just like, holy shit! I have just hit the mother load, and I'm like. This fucker's gonna eat me, man. He's gonna start attacking
the
me.
Intensity.
Was it a golden condor or a red-tailed hawk or?
I don't remember.
No, it's a brown bird. Bro.
I have a picture. We'll show you a picture. You may know. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm working the camera and I'm just like seeing this thing, just intently looking.
Right.
And I'm like,
Ben, get this fucking shot. Get this fucking shot.
And the worst part is, haters will say it's photoshopped because we put that together.
Right.
And knowing Jason's background was straight 8. They just thought we just put it all together.
Everybody did that.
No one knew that it just totally impromptu happened on an afternoon one day that someone happened to knock on the door and be like, I got a bird. Want to bring it in?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was an old corpsman of mine from my old unit, and he's just like, yeah, I got fucking birds.
I got a bird in the truck right now. You want to bring it in?
You are a crazy motherfucker, but bring that thing in, man. It
was
awesome, man.
That's like I went to a book signing. I wrote a forward for a book for a magician named Ben Robinson. He's one of the top 10 magicians.
Oh, really?
I taught him how to do the first ever flighted card knife stab.
Yeah,
right. So
that's fucking sweet.
Sure. So you basically dishes out your card, you sign it, puts it back in the box,
and then
puts it on top of the knife and throws the whole damn thing, and they all go flying, and the knife that sticks hits your card that you signed.
Is this your card?
And he's actually throwing the knife and all that stuff. So I taught him how to do. But I wrote the forward for his book, and I was at the book signing there in Athens, Georgia, for like the debut of the show. And Howie, this magician, the great Howie, I forget his last name, but I follow him, and he is impeccable as a magician. I mean, crazy.
Really?
Crazy cool. I watched this guy with these birds. He got these little white, they look like pigeons or doves.
Okay.
Little yeah. And he's just pulling them out of like everywhere. I'm like, an empty bag, like you know the emperor sleeve thing that you slip your hands through. It's empty. I held this bag and I've checked it. I stick my hands through it. Like, he pulls 2 birds out of this damn thing. I watched him do it.
That's fucking wild.
It is, and the birds are so well tempered.
We do, man.
I got a couple of you.
Okay,
you might need to hook us up.
I would say yes, 100%.
Magic hour with Jason and Ben.
I would love that.
in the after hour after the show, you know, we're talking and bullshitting, and he's showing me like this little clown bike he's got that shoots flame fire out of it. Really cool.
I'm very intrigued now.
Yeah, but he's showing me these birds, and he's like, no, they're super. He's tipping them upside down. He's doing, and they're trained to do whatever he wants them to do, including go limp and play dead.
What?
Crazy.
Oh, that's badass.
Wow.
So very cool.
Maybe they were mechanical.
That's why I throw knives, man. I can only cooperate with so many things.
Like Hatchimals or some shit.
Holy shit.
I keep up on the latest kids stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
Hatchimals.
All right, look, we're going to let you get out of here.
Yeah.
Shit, we went like an hour, right?
I'm pretty sure that's a good show right there.
Yeah.
You don't even need to ask me.
I can keep going
a break or anything. I think that's a wrap.
No,
we're done.
So, guys, follow Jason, man, on Instagram. It's at Pro Knife Thrower, right? And then your website is therealjasonjohnson.com, right?
Right. I just picked up the ProKnifeThrower.com domain name.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Tied into it all. But if you look up Pro Knife Thrower or any media, you'll find me.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check our feed. We'll put you in there. We follow you a lot too, man. It's awesome.
And check out some YouTube videos, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna be amazed, man. I'm telling you guys, this is the top level of knife throwing, man. And if you ever, I promise you, get a chance to train underneath Jason, man, do it. Because I had a permagrin on my face for like 2 days after I was, and I was showing everybody. People didn't even
no, like it's true. He would come here to the studio, like a couple days had passed.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me go out back. Let's go out back. And he was just taking people out back.
I was like, oh yeah, it was fucking awesome.
No, it's true. Like, it was awesome.
I think it's awesome. So
yeah, that's like Travis at the Knife or Death when they were filming there. He's out. He had the set builders build him a knife throwing target.
Oh,
so
really?
He could be out there throwing.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get one out back.
We can do that.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, Jason, thanks, brother.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man. Guys, and thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.